The Autistic Self-Advocacy Network presents A Self-Advocate's Guide to the Americans with Disabilities Act. Who does the ADA protect? The ADA protects people with disabilities. The ADA explains who counts as someone with a disability. The ADA says that a disability makes your brain or body different from most people, changes how you do some things, like seeing, eating, sleeping, learning, reading, working, and breathing, makes it harder to do one or more of these things, or makes it impossible to do one or more of these things. That is how the ADA decides that you have a disability. For example, Morgan is autistic. Morgan's brain works differently than non-autistic people's brains. Sometimes, that makes it harder for Morgan to learn things. It also might make it harder for Morgan to work. The ADA says Morgan has a disability. Morgan gets rights from the ADA. Hero is blind. He can't see at all. He can't read books without Braille. The ADA says Hero has a disability. Hero gets rights from the ADA. The ADA also protects people who used to have a disability. They might have been sick for a long time. Then, they got better. So now, they don't have a disability anymore. But sometimes, they still get discriminated against. They get discriminated against because they were disabled. So the ADA gives them rights too. There are some times where the ADA protects people without disabilities. Sometimes, someone discriminates against a non-disabled person. They think that the person has a disability. That's why they discriminate. For example, Mateo does not have a disability. He applies for a job at a movie theater. At his job interview, the interviewer says that Mateo looks autistic. The interviewer says autistic people can't work at movie theaters, so Mateo doesn't get the job. It doesn't matter that Mateo isn't actually autistic. The interviewer still discriminated against him. The interviewer thought Mateo had a disability. The interviewer discriminated against Mateo, so Mateo still gets rights from the ADA. Other times, someone discriminates against a non-disabled person. They are not disabled, but they are close with a disabled person. They could be a friend of someone with a disability. They could have a child with a disability. For example, Rosa does not have a disability. She works at an office. Her daughter has Down syndrome. Rosa's boss doesn't like this. He thinks that Rosa will take time off to care for her daughter. Rosa loses her job. Rosa is not disabled, but her daughter was disabled. That's why Rosa's boss discriminated against her. So Rosa still gets rights from the ADA. Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. For more information, visit our website, autisticadvocacy.org.